everyone, welcome back. So this is my eyebrow tutorial and I've been meaning to film this for a while now. I get so many questions on my eyebrows and who would have thought that anyone would be asking me how I do my eyebrows. If you guys know, I have had a crazy eyebrow journey and I have come across throughout my trying of every eyebrow from here to Timbuktu eyebrow product I have tried, and I've come across these products that I think are the best for my personal routine. They're the easiest for me to use, and this is the eyebrow routine that I do when I am filming or when I want an extra special eyebrow if I'm going to get all made up. Now, this is not an everyday eyebrow tutorial. You could stop at certain places, but I am going to be carving out my brow, which is what I've been doing differently, and a lot of you guys have noticed and asked. So I'm just going to get into my eyebrow tutorial. So if you've been wondering how I've been doing things differently, then go ahead and keep watching. I start by just every day, like combing through my brows in the morning, just giving them a quick comb, and then I've just been plucking any stray hairs. I have the Tweezerman Tweezers here, and I purchased these at Ulta. They're rather expensive, but they have a really great warranty on them, and they're supposedly one of the best, so that's why I purchased them. So I just go in and pluck any stray hairs that I might have. So plucking the stray hairs each day really helps me to maintain the shape of my brows with very little effort. If I'm keeping up with it, then I notice I don't have to go on a huge plucking streak or anything like that. So that's why I kind of just do it every single day, just to really keep them nice and tidy. So the next thing that I have started doing that has really helped is I got a pair of trimming brow tweezers, or I don't know, trimming tweezers, hair tweezers. These are the Ulta brand, so I got them at Ulta. They were rather inexpensive. And I will comb up some hairs that I have, like really wild hairs. So I will just comb up some of the hairs, and some of these hairs up front, they get like, you see, they get like really wild and crazy. So the hairs kind of like up, I don't really go past right here because they tend to lay down a little bit more, but these front hairs right here, I keep them trimmed. So just go in. And trim them up. So I really hope today is a day that my brows cooperate now that I chose today to film a brow tutorial. So after that, I just kind of go in and comb the rest of my hairs, and then I'm going to move on to the next step. Something that has really helped me is to, since I have those wild and crazy hairs, I like to run through them with a wax before I do anything else. I've been using the Milani clear brow wax. You can get this at the drugstore. It's rather inexpensive. Now there are other brands that have a wax in a pencil form, which is what I really do prefer just because it's really easy for me. So I just run that through my brows to get them kind of tacky so that they hold their shape. Okay, the next thing that I changed up since my last brow tutorial is I got a darker color of the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Now the Brow Wiz is a really thin, small pencil. The consistency of this is beyond. I've never tried anything that has made more of an impact on my ability to perfect my brows. So if there's one thing from this that I think that you should get, it's definitely the Brow Wiz. I haven't found a better dupe in the drugstore that has that perfect consistency of like a wax and a pencil that distributes color. Now I had the color Ash Blonde, which I was using for a long time to do the whole brow. But when I was in LA for IMETS, I picked up the medium ash color. Now it's a little bit darker. I always had darker eyebrows than my actual hair. No matter what color blonde my hair has ever been. I'm a natural blonde, but you know, through the years it gets darker and I've lightened it. But my brows have always been darker. I got the medium ash to carve out the bottom part of my brow and to make that nice crisp line. Then I used the ash blonde to fill in the front portion and then to really fill in the top and the hairs over here. What I love about the Brow Wiz also is it does have a spoolie on the end, so you can use the spoolie on this. You didn't have to use an extra spoolie. I was using a different pencil, but so I'm just going to take the medium ash. What I'm going to do is I start right here and I just make small little lines. And then I just follow the natural arch of my brow. I do take the medium ash and just go right up at the top right here and create that little arch. So take that ash blonde and I kind of run it through in short, small strokes through the very front of my brow. And then I go and create a little bit of an arch right there. And I just kind of follow the natural arch of this brow. And then drag it down. The biggest struggle for me is matching my brows because they're like distant relatives. They do not match at all. I know they don't have to be twins, but like this one has a totally different arch than this one. So it's really about matching my brows. It's extremely difficult for me. Sometimes it's a miss even when I try really hard. So I just finished up filling that in and then I'm going to fill in the blank spaces with powder. This is the Anastasia Pro Brow Palette and it has several different colors, but I'm just going to go in between the blonde and the lightest shade in the medium brown and just kind of the darkest shade in the blonde and then the lightest shade in the medium brown, and I'm just going to fill in any sparse areas. Now you can feel free to use, you know, whatever powder you have. If you are a blonde like me, Omega from MAC is a really great eyeshadow, and I'm just using an angled brush and I just kind of fill in any of the spaces that have Then to set the powder and to set everything, I'm going to run a little bit of the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel through my brows. This is just a deluxe sample. I love this because it doesn't make my eyebrows crusty at all. I just run it through the brows just to set everything. If you have eyebrows that are very sparse and you're filling them in with powder or pencil products, running the brow gel through really makes a difference because it almost adds character back to your actual eyebrow hair. It really makes your eyebrows appear more real if you are having to fill them in, so that's why I like to do that. Plus I have wild hair, so I like to set them. Okay, the next thing up that I have changed in my eyebrow routine is Anastasia, who I obviously have grown very fondly of, and these are my holy grail products. Anastasia came out with new concealers. Now, I showed these concealers in a Friday favorites and I talked about how I loved them for the consistency to carve out my brows. Now, carving out your brow is not something that everyone does. It gives you a little bit more of a perfect looking brow and not so much of a natural everyday brow. I need a little bit of perfection when it comes to my brows being carved out. I like the way it looks. These come in a variety of different colors. The consistency is amazing. It's like a very thin consistency. You only need to tap your brush in. This is the Anastasia number 18 concealer brush. I just barely tap my brush in and I drag the excess off onto the side of the container because you do not want a ton of brow product. And we are going to line under the brows. Now this really helps to clean up the brows. It also really helps as a highlight. So this concealer is very pigmented, but it's such a nice light consistency, so that's what makes it really easy to not get gunked up under the brows. So I'm just gonna start right here and I just make a line and I go up to the brow. And just carve out that sharp line under the brow. Whatever is left on my brush, I take it right here and I just pull in and clean up that edge. And then right on top. So just like that. This is in the color 1.0. But like I said, they have several colors to match your skin tone. So I love this. I have tried it under the eyes and I'm not as a huge fan of it because it's so creamy and it is so pigmented. It does cover those circles, but I find it creases on me under my eyes. So I really just use it for my brows. Okay, so that is my finished brow routine and that is how I've been doing my eyebrows. Every single product that I used in this tutorial I would highly recommend. If I were to recommend any two products that I think are probably worth it in my opinion, it would be the Brow Wiz and the concealer. Those are two products I haven't been able to find any comparisons for a lesser cost that do the same job that I'm looking for. So in turn, I think that those are the most valuable players that have made such a difference in how I feel like my eyebrows turn out. So I hope this was helpful to you. Now, this is not an everyday look. You can take any of the information that I told you and stop maybe at the concealer part, carving it out, whatever you feel most comfortable with. If you feel more comfortable filling it in with powder, just take an angled brush. There are several tutorials out there with that. I just don't get as much precision using only a powder. That's why I like to use the pencil. If you guys have any questions that I didn't answer, please leave them below and I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.